first and foremost, thank you so much for letting us come through here at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday, taking the time to talk to us. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your bar?
Yeah, my name's Josh Gagney. I'm the GM and operating partner here at the Haymaker in Downtown Raleigh. We've been here for a little over 5 years, actually. Originally, we definitely leaned more on your experimental cocktail mindset with our program. And then once we got into our groove, we found things as who we were and what their favorites were, things that I took off the menu that kept getting asked for. So now they're our own classics. So we still like to be experimental with what we're doing, but at the end of the day, it's all about our consumer.
So what would you say the program kind of focuses on? So obviously, like, we're talking about 3 to 5 ingredient drinks that are quick to execute, but then also experimental. So does that mean that you guys are doing things like, are you doing like culinary style things or farmers market cocktails with like a classic build, or like what do people expect
We
here?
found that just because the delivery of the cocktail can be quick doesn't mean that what went into it needs to be quick.
Right.
So for here, we take a lot of time behind the scenes to barrel age our cocktails, or make syrups that take a couple days. We've had clarified no punches on our menu. One of our most popular cocktails of all time, the Bad Guys Wear Black, is an old-fashioned spin-off that we use
the greatest name for a cocktail, by the way.
We use a burnt sugar syrup that I can't even make in here, and not even in my house. I have to go to like a full kitchen with an HVAC system because it just creates so much smoke, and it's the sketchiest thing that I do. But it creates this really dope syrup that we use, and has really kind of pinpointed itself as like one of our identifiers as our most popular cocktails. But.
Right on. I noticed that you have a couple of vintage punch bowls above the bar.
Yeah.
So you guys do punch service. Is this a thing here?
We do. That's kind of part of the name with Haymaker being, a knockout punch.
Oh, there you go.
So,
yeah, I was wondering about the name.
Yeah. So you'll notice like some boxing stuff around in the bathrooms on the wallpaper with boxing gloves, things like that. So that was just kind of the fun approach to the concept that kind of allowed, for us, it's allowed us to kind of lean on like, hey, what's some cool boxing terms and themes that we can attach to our cocktails and stuff. So that, along with 90s hip hop, is sounds like a strange combination, but
no, it's not.
But everyone, that's what we're probably known for the most, is they're the hip hop bar in downtown. So there's a ton that we can do as far as relying on sort of a creative start.
Cool, man. Should we make some cocktails?
For sure.
I'd like to see what you guys do.
Yeah. So we'll probably start with that Bad Guys Wear Black.
Yeah, let's do that.
So essentially, we're gonna build it just like an old-fashioned, a classic old-fashioned, but we're gonna add a little burnt sugar syrup, a little Luxardo, a couple dashes of bitters, and we'll go from there. So we're gonna start with 2 ounces of, we've always used Old Forester 100 proof here for our old-fashions and for this Bad Guys Wear Black. I like a little higher proof bourbon in old-fashions because you want that to stand out. Then we'll go for a 1/4 ounce of this burnt sugar syrup, and we'll do a bar spoon of Luxardo, a little maraschino cherry, a couple dashes of Ango, a little cold draft ice, but if you don't have cold draft. From there, we'll just hit it with a little orange zest over the top.
I'm gonna take it strong. I'm gonna take a straw taste of this. Oh, hell yeah, it's nice and dry. It's got that, you can taste the maraschino, but it's got that burnt kind of bittersweet thing.
Yeah.
It's nice, yeah. And it doesn't actually, see, my whole thing was that the burnt sugar syrup would detract from the flavor of the bourbon. It doesn't.
That's why you gotta go 1/4 ounce at the most.
What's next?
So we've got the Sing Like a Bee, which is Earl Grey infused gin, some fresh lemon, honey, and fresh orange juice.
There you go.
So we're gonna start with 2 ounces of Earl Grey infused gin. You can use whatever kind of gin you prefer. After that, we'll go to 3/4 ounces of fresh orange juice. Then we'll go with a 1/2 of lemon and a 1/2 of honey syrup. And then this one's fun. We always like to grab a fancy teacup. This would be so cool to serve Sing Like a Bee out of. And this one again with the orange, we'll just add a little fresh honey on top.
Love it. Like afternoon tea, the best afternoon tea.
Pinky out.
Pinky out like so. Yeah, I like what the orange is doing in there.
Yeah.
Orange is such a controversial fruit to use in cocktails, and people have such, dyed-in-the-wool kind of ideas about it.
Right.
But, added to a whiskey sour, it always just takes that whiskey sour up a notch.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think it's doing the same thing here. It's cool. It's like a bee's knees variation, basically, right? That Earl Grey, though, is working real nice with that orange and then the honey, and it's all very well balanced. It's one of those drinks where you can taste all of the ingredients separately, but you can also taste them as combined sort of,
Right.
thing that evolves, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Which is, as long as you can get a good balance, that should be kind of the goal for it, right?
No, it's not overly sweet. It's
Yeah.
nice and tart. And so I'm gonna refute the people who say like 1-to-1 honey. Like, I don't think 1-to-1 honey balances citrus very well at all. It ends up being a little too tart, I think.
Right.
Cool. One more?
Yep.
One last
We can
one?
do. Right here we got the Smoke Show. This is one of those cocktails for when we have a guest that says, I like bourbon. Which one do you recommend? The Bad Guys Who Wear Black or the Smoke Show? Kind of go in both directions, whichever direction you're looking to go. For this, we'll start out with 2 ounces of bourbon. Here we use virgin bourbon, charcoal filtered, 101 proof, maple syrup, Fino sherry, and pineapple juice. Then we're gonna go 3/4 ounce of lime juice, and then we're gonna shake. So you're saying it sounds pretty simple. What's our spin on it? What gives it kind of its own, makes it unique? And that's where the smoke aspect's coming into play. So we'll strain this over ice, and then we're gonna hit it over the top with a black cardamom tincture that we make here. So I like drinking this one straight out of the glass with no straw. That way you get your nose in that black cardamom.
Which is cool because it's nice to add sort of a smoke element without smoke in a glass.
Right.
So either using tea, black cardamom's a genius stroke I never thought of. So there's that, but like it's always good because, for me, simplicity doesn't denote something that's not complex. It's just someone who's had the creativity to think of something that would be complex, streamline it, all right, and then think of so for instance, like maple syrup, Fino, and pineapple sounds, not only does it sound fire, but I haven't come across that at any other right? So it's just like a streamlined version of something that would be complicated, made into a 3-step drink.
A lot of questions we get with this is, it sounds sweet. I don't like using the word sweet because it sounds very overpowering. Maple syrup, although it's sweet, we balance it out with fresh citrus so that it's more rich than sweet. So it does its job from a sweetness perspective, but it does still balanced.
But it also has 3 different elements that are adding citrus that are adding sourness to it. So you've got your lime juice, you've got your sherry, and then you also have the pineapple, which has some citric acid as well. Right, so you're kind of getting that citric element that's balancing that sugar out anyway. And the maple syrup, everybody, is adding a warmness to it and sort of a fall complexity to it. That's what we're looking for this season, right?
Exactly.
That's what we're looking for.
This became, when we first opened, I think this went on in the fall. Then we got through the winter, and I was kind of like, okay, well, this isn't necessarily a summer drink, but it has become year-round cocktail. So
I mean, I drink that in the summer.
Yeah.
But it is also very markedly fall cocktail. And what's cool is that it's still hot in LA, so we're still doing hot weather cocktails, and it was nice to come out here and then we went to a couple bars yesterday, and we started running into actual fall cocktails. Which
starting
is
to everybody. Some people are making that transition.
Yeah, and it's good to make that transition a little early. I mean, it is technically fall since the 22nd of September. So, so we're in the fall, even though it doesn't. Really
we're in North Carolina, so we still got another month of heat.
Let's talk about the artwork on the wall.
The artwork, yeah. So when we originally opened here, we had nothing on that wall other than the antique mirror, and it seemed great. The first year that we did Cocktail Kingdom's Miracle Pop-Up, we wrapped the whole thing in wrapping paper and tinsel. And
okay, that's cool.
So once we got through and we went to go tear it all down, everybody in here was like, oh my God, that wall looks so blank. So we were trying to figure out what to do with it, and 2 weeks later, a guy named Chris Evans came in, now one of my good friends here. He said, I think I have some artwork for you that would look really dope on the wall. And I recognized him. I was like, you're the one that did the J. Cole painting. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, just bring stuff in. So it's been about 4 years now, and he and I just have a great relationship on him bringing in artwork. He's changes stuff up all the time. Usually tries to match it with our concept here, which it's like the Biggie and Nipsey and J. Cole. And then he recently opened his tattoo shop in downtown Raleigh. So now one of our neighbors. So works out great. And that's another talking piece for the space where everybody's trying to guess who all is in the artwork. So,
hell yeah, I love it.
Good Trip Inc. is his Instagram account. And he's got a lot more of his really dope artwork.
Cool, man. Well, I want to thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah,
high five.
Thank you. Yeah, glad y'all made it out. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I think everybody should come drink at this awesome bar because it's awesome.
For
the
sure.
drinks they are fire. So.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.